Do you ever ask yourself how much you mean, how much you matter, how much you've affected people in this planet, how much you've changed things for people for the better on this earth? Do you ever look at great leaders, superstars, people who've had a huge impact on culture, on ideas, people who invented things? Do you ever wonder what is your contribution? Think of all the people in your life. Think of the family, the friends, every single person. One kind word you say to somebody on one particular day could be one little bit of difference that's just enough that it gets them through that day, and that day gets them through that week, and that week helps them to turn something around, and that person goes on to help a lot more people. The typical movie that comes around that's everybody's favorite after like 75 years is, what is it? Miracle on 34th Street. And it's the exact idea that I'm going to explain right now, but you already know it. But sometimes you need to be reminded. And it's the idea that a lot of people who may think that they're insignificant, that they're not in a position to do a lot of good or great or anything, have no idea how much the very little things they do, the very little ways they push themselves to do just a little bit more to help in tiny ways the people around them, ripple into eternity and create all kinds of good things that they themselves may never find out about, at least on this side of this particular life. So something that comes to mind is there's a lot of Christmas carols being played in the mall I'm in. There's a lot of radio being played all year round. And a lot of people agree that in the 20th century, some of the amazing singers, I always say I think Whitney Houston is probably the most all-around, powerfully amazing pop singer of that century. But one of the most sweetest, like just pure melodic perfection in a singer is, a lot of people agree, is Karen Carpenter. But a lot of people don't know. A lot of people know that the sad story with her, and then they know the beauty of the music. They don't know a bigger part of the story is that not anyone would know who she was or have ever heard her sing a note if it wasn't for her brother. And that's why their group is called the Carpenters. Her brother was the one who founded the group, taught himself to play piano vigorously, like with this intensity for perfection that people were shocked by how hard he pushed himself. He arranged pretty much every song they did. He arranged all the instruments. He wrote most of the musical parts. He worked with other musicians in the studio and around, but he basically created every single song that Karen sang. He picked the songs. He searched high and low for specific songs that he thought would be good. And he played the piano parts. He wrote the backing vocals. He sang a lot of the backing vocals. And he pushed his shy, somewhat strong-willed, hard-headed sister to go out there and sing when he realized how great her voice was. And the crazy thing is, she didn't want to. She wanted to be in the background. She was shy. She was introverted. And she wanted to play the drums. And she became a really good drummer. She's actually a better drummer than a lot of rock drummers, a lot of professional full-time like bands that are very much more famous She was an incredibly good drummer, and she was happy to just do that. And he had to push her not only to sing while she played the drums, but to get out from behind the drums and be the front person and sing those songs. And really, we don't think about him as much. We always think about her. And he was the one pushing the entire thing, the entire time. And now, decades later, after everything is over, how many of those songs are still played, and how many people are still, moved emotionally by hearing that voice that no one else would know about if this brother hadn't pushed his sister so hard. Now that's a pretty sharp example, but all the little subtle ones you might never know about. I had a friend come up to me once, I hadn't talked to him in years, and he said, "Remember that time we sat on my porch and just talked, and we talked about a bunch of stuff, and at the end as the sun went down, at the end of the thing, we both were laughing, and we were just in a great mood because we just had a really good talk." And I said, "Yeah, I do remember that night." And he said, "You said something to me." And he repeated something I said to him. I didn't remember a word of it. I said, I guess that sounds like something I would say. But he remembered word for word. And he said, that changed some things for me. That helped me. I remember from that moment on, I always thought about that thing you said to me. And it was just totally impacted my life. And I was like, whoa, that was just me sitting on a porch, just talking about stuff. You just never know. You never know that one time you take your niece or your grandkid or, your friend out somewhere for an outing or something, that something will mean more to them than you realize. So anyway, just keep doing the good you do. Just keep doing those extra little things. Keep sending those cards out. Keep making those phone calls. Keep visiting those people. Keep making jewelry for people and give away some. Don't sell it all. Make some as gifts too. And, do those little things. Bake those cookies. Help that person clean their gutters, whatever it is. Give somebody a ride. Keep doing those things, and don't for a second think that just because you can't see all the things that ripple, that there aren't millions of little things going around that had an impact because of something you did. Have a good night.